Welcome to Week 9, the last day of Week 9, in fact, and it's been a crazy week so far. Hello, everyone. I'm Jake Spawn Tiberi. Joining me on the desk is the handsome Julian Pastry-Heimkar, as well as Indiana Frosker and Black.
I don't think to be handsome or beautiful or illustrious.
Gorgeous. Let's go with that one, gorgeous.
Thank
Frost,
you.
your hair's looking great today.
Thanks. I put some product in it.
Pastry time?
I don't want to talk about it.
But what a game. A couple of games we had last night. Two big upsets.
Oh, yeah, the OPL's been great. Thanks for mentioning my hair. No, seriously, it's actually been an awesome week of OPL. I think we're finally getting to the business end of the season. Playoffs are coming up soon, and always sad to be at the end of a week, but always interesting as well.
All I'm going to say is if you impersonate me on camera, wear hair product on the desk the next time you're on. Otherwise, I'm coming for you. However, we do have the standings to take a look at. As we see, Legacy is still atop of the standings, but no longer your OPL legends, as Chiefs took that away from them last night, 6-3. Then it is Sin and Direwolves rounding out the top 4. Avant and Hellions can still make it into that top 4, so watch out for their games. Hellions are tonight, of course. Infernum and Trident will be battling in the relegation promotion tournament. But, of course, guys, that all changed this week. The standings have been all over the place because we have some results for you to check out. On Monday night, it was actually Avant taking down Infernum in pretty emphatic fashion, whilst last night, Trident took it to the Direwolves and beat them 2-0 last night in our big match of the week, OPL Legend match. In fact, it was the Chiefs taking down Legacy in 2-1. That was an absolute cracker. Go back, watch it if you missed it. Hellions will be taking on Sin tonight in another big clash. And that's what we really want to talk about, you know, Hellions versus Sin. So let's bring the Hellions lineup for you right now. It is Ryu in the top lane. It'll actually be in a substitution. Soul Strikes will be playing for Cookie, who is sick. Bomb in the mid lane. Frey their AD carry. And Denian in support. A Hellions lineup that we expected big things. You know, Gaming House bringing over 2 Korean imports. It's getting to the end of the season. Have they finally got to the point where we think they can make playoffs?
It's going to be really close, and it's just so unfortunate because, yes, over the last few weeks, the Hellions have actually been getting better in terms of working together as a team. Before it was kind of like just split push, but now you're starting to see Ryu group a bit more with the team. So the cohesion, the synergy is starting to come up, at least as their 5v5s are concerned. And then to be stuck in such an important game and then have to use a sub for your jungler, it's pretty dramatic.
It certainly is, but let's take a look at their opponents. It is going to be Sin Gaming, who have been on an absolute tear lately. 4 in a row. Chippies, their top laner. Juves, their jungler. Rymeister in the mid lane. Cardred and Roga, their AD carry and support. This is a team that is much improved. You know, very disappointing start to the season. They came in with a huge chip on their shoulder, maybe finally seeing what Sin Gaming is all about, and that's where I want to kick it off. What has changed about Sin, in your opinion, Julian, in the last couple of weeks that has made them this big force to be reckoned with now in the OPL?
I mean, it's Super Week, right? That seemed to be the thing that just completely changed Sin around and turned them around as a team. We always knew they had the potential. Rymeister's been playing great, but I feel like he's been getting a lot more attention, I guess, more than anything else, and the teams have been really like making sure to put comps together for him. But Cardred's playing better, Juves is playing better. Like, it's a team effort from Sin. It always has to be. It's just, they've looked awesome.
The big thing for me is actually specifically Juves. I know that Rymeister has definitely been performing, and he's always going to be like the hard carry of the team. But Juves has been so much more responsive, and it started in Super Week with the pickup of the Gragas, and his people thought his ceiling was here, and in Super Week he played way up here.
And let's actually talk about Juves for a second, because this is a guy that got a lot of flack. Every single OPL pro we spoke to was like, he is a liability outright. There is no upside on this guy. We don't care about his shot calling because that's poor as well. Like, he's just an outright liability. Juves, to his credit, cops a lot of flack and takes all of it on the chin. Like, you ever talk to the guy, he's more than willing to stand up for what he thinks he brings to the team and try and execute on it. Very humble. And he has done exactly that in the last couple of weeks. Really been a good player.
Yeah, I feel like the meta shift has helped Juves quite a bit. Actually, like, Gragas is just a champion where he can perform a bit better. Counter ganking is really important. Just in general, I feel like Juves has been in the right place at the right time. It's a very key skill for a jungler, but he's finally starting to get it right. And I think that's a team thing, but also an individual thing, obviously, as well.
It does make sense. You said that Juves is the shot caller for the team. Obviously, I'm new to the Oceanic region, so this is coming as information to me, but that makes sense that that's something that Juves does excel at. I've noticed it, that he's like, yes, he's actually really good at counter-ganking, maybe not engineering the correct plays for the moment, but he's always where he needs to be, so obviously responding well to his team, and you can see that there's very clear communication with him.
Yeah, you certainly can. Looking over the other side of the rift, however, I want to have a look at Hellions' run to playoffs. They have Sin tonight and Direwolves next week. The best thing about Hellions' run to playoff is it's completely in Hellions' control. If they win both of these games, they will clinch that 4th place position. If Sin lose against the Chiefs next week and Hellions win both their games, they will be 3rd place outright. So everything on the Hellions lineup, this is where they wanted it to be. They said they're very confident in themselves, now playing with a substitute. How do we actually approach this? Have they evolved enough? Like, are they going to come up clutch pastry? What are your thoughts?
And this is the thing, right? This is the real test for Hellions as a team, is that how good are they in clutch situations? It's great that they have a playoff right now and they can actually start getting themselves in the spot they need to be, I guess. But we've seen a lot of different things from this team. We've seen long games that they've won. We've seen games where it felt like they could have done a lot better and couldn't quite close it out. I think right now they're going to be truly tested for their ability. And I guess if they are clutch, we're going to find out now because there's no better test than this playoff run.
No, I completely agree. But again, I just have to touch on the fact that it's such an important series coming up, and they have to run with a substitute.
Yeah, exactly right. Substitute is Soulstrike, someone that isn't a stranger. He did play with Ryu on the team previously, so they're very familiar with each other. At least they were a very top-heavy focus. Now breaking up the Bomb Cookie duo, that might be a big impact. But I do want to get your predictions on the game. It is going to be Hellions versus Sin. Froskurin, looking at you first down the end of the desk. Who is going to win this game and what score?
Fun fact, when I'm on the desk or casting, Sin never lose. They have a 100% win rate if I'm here, and they've won the last 4 games. So it's actually a pretty sizable sample pool. So I'm going to go 2-0 Sin Gaming.
I actually believe in the Hellions' clutch ability. I think they'll show up with Coach Strikes there. Ryu and his old partner in the jungle, I think can get it done. It's going to be close. I'll give it 2-1 Hellions.
All right, there you go, guys. But we are ready to jump onto Summoner's Rift for Game 1, so don't go anywhere. Atlas and Rusty are going to bring you the game.
Thank you very much, Spawn. Incredibly excited to get into the last game here for Week 9. The last team, Rusty, that Sin lost to was Trident,
Yeah.
interestingly enough.
To
And
be
that was
fair.
a long time ago.
To be fair, Trident are becoming the giant killers at the
Yeah.
moment, so credit to Trident. But yes, Sin, they are absolutely going off right now in terms of their individual and team performance, taking the standings by surprise, running over everyone in Super Week. This is now the favorite team, you'd have to say, coming into this best of 3 series. No more excuses for Sin. No more opportunities to be the underdog. They need to show up.
Yeah, exactly right. One thing that I really love about this is the fact that it's showing how close the OPL is at the moment. So there is, look, if Hellions manage to take down Sin, it's not like the upsets that we'd speak about in sort of splits gone by, because they were so much more spread out. You know, you'd have clear sort of worst teams in the OPL, but now definitely not the case. As we are in a champion select, Yasuo is going to be banned away from Rymeister. No surprises there, as Bombs and Nivea is going to be taken off the board. He's seen it a couple of times, hasn't exactly found wins every time, but his laning phase is just awful.
Yeah, and that's the very interesting thing about both of these teams right now. We've got a mid laner that plays control mages with the occasional assassin in the mix, the Ahri as an example, against someone that plays primarily assassins with the occasional control mage in the mix. So will they be banning away? Will they be picking away from their opposition? Or will they just go with comfort and conversely play against each other with the new junglers as well? Makes it tough for Bomb.
Yeah, exactly. And Soulstrikes is almost synonymous with Rek'Sai in my mind. When Soulstrikes was really at the height of his power,
He was Gragas.
he was Gragas Rek'Sai. It was like these sort of like knockup-based junglers was Soulstrikes, and I'm really looking forward to seeing him play because it's back to the same meta, you know, basically.
It's not far away from the same meta, I will give you exactly that. Of course, champion pool-wise anyway, Rek'Sai's always going to be relevant. Gragas, very strong right now, so could be something that Hellions decide to prioritize. Of course, we haven't seen Soulstrikes play in the OPL in an extended period of time, and a lot has gone on since then, so we'll see how he goes, and if this is locked in, it's not really a surprise.
Yeah, I love it, actually. Prioritizing the new players champion, if they were to lock it in. Of course, haven't yet. We're going to go through the rest of the bans as it is. Cogmore Gangplank, the last 2 away from Sin Gaming from Hellions, as Corky Lulu hit the bench as Sin take that on the red side. Callista is still available, but it is going to be the Gragas that is locked in here for Hellions. And look, Braum, another option. There are a lot of power picks still left on the board, Rusty.
Yeah, so Cogmore's gone, Lulu gone. So that's the big priority targets that you would have to say in the meta in particular that have been taken away. So Gragas and junglers in particular are the big things left open right now. Nidalee is the other standout jungler as well that hasn't been attended. Elise, though, much more of a Juice champion. I do like what Sin have done so far, though, taking away the, I'm going to say, ultimate support in the current meta, above all else.
Yeah, already getting rid of that one, as Rymeister was thinking about taking an early LeBlanc, which is doubtful in my mind, just being on the red side, wanting to have that counter pick possibility if he is there. Who's at the moment just cycling through some champions and see exactly what he does finish up on. So far, I do like the Braum. Would not necessarily like the Yorick, but Poppy is going to be locked in.
Good.
And that is definitely a fantastic pick. It's had so much impact.
And so that was even notable in the last series we saw yesterday with Chiefs and Legacy. Poppy was a big factor in Legacy's first victory in game number 2. Poppy was also big as a denial pick in game number 3. And honestly, what a champion she is right now.
Oh, yeah.
So strong, still does damage whilst actually being tanky. And it's funny because we changed Poppy. Like, let's get rid of the old Poppy passive. It made her ridiculous. Turns out, still feels like the same Poppy, unbelievably.
The W passive still gives her that feel, so it's very frustrating. I also like it picked into Gragas as well. Denies the body slam to a certain extent if used, you know, in some sort of gank attempt on the Poppy towards the top side of the map. We'll see exactly where it is going to go. Might be in the jungle. Sybil did play it there, if you remember. Highly doubt it, though. But
possible.
Yeah, Hellions actually going to possibly be able to pick up the Callista in the 3rd round of picking.
Yeah, so the other champion, besides the Cogmore, that's actually quite good at the moment, definitely that Callista. Wouldn't be a surprise to see that one locked in. Of course, the other question mark that Hellions have locked in with that is, what lane is it going? You know, Trundle. He could be anywhere. Could be top, could be support. Works a little bit better with a Callista, I will say, than most other AD carries because you can still throw the Trundle in. Utilize Grasp of the Dying much more effectively with the auto attacks as well. I think there's a lot of strength in that role, but primarily, it should be a top laner.
Ooh, Cardred actually going back to a very old comfort champion of his own as the Sivir is going to be locked in. Of course, terrifying at the moment with those critical strikes on the Ricochet. Just stupid. And it has often been picked up as sort of the answer to the Callista as well. We'll see exactly how it is going to work as they hop into the lane. But Rhymeister going to pick up Juice's Nidalee, so saving the Rhymeister pick until last. Of course, his Diana is still there. A lot of champions that Rhymeister has a lot of power on can be utilized.
Red side Rhymeister, I guess is the best way to describe it.
Scary stuff.
May as well give their mid laner their star player, safe to say, the last pick as well. So, Sin doing well with their draft. Juice on the Nidalee as well does kind of start alarm bells in the back of my ears. It's like, don't know. I think he'll do well, but it doesn't feel like a Juve's champion is what I'm trying to get at here. Is like, he can't engage, he can't necessarily be a big threat, and it could work because he's not exactly proactive, he's more reactive, so Nidalee can counter gank well, but
I just feel like Juice is a fantastic facilitator when he plays from the jungle. He's often very good at transitioning power to his lanes, not necessarily getting it himself. And Nidalee is definitely known as this sort of carry type jungler, and we saw Carbon actually run into that issue just a little bit in game number 1 versus the Chiefs yesterday. Is he was on the Nidalee, he's the one that had all of the power, but he wasn't necessarily as able to transfer that to Tally, which is often how they manage to win the games. But see exactly what does happen. But Diana is, of course, going to be locked in. I love this out of Rhymeister. We're not seeing any more Jace. We're not seeing any more Cassiopeia. We're seeing him pick up the champions he knows that he can decimate lane with, as my producer is in my ear saying that he wants Jace. No Benji. No more Jace camp.
Yeah, so he's against an Ahri as well, so he's aware of who he's laning against and confidently picks up the Diana. One flag, you know, naturally, Ahri has true damage. You can't stack the Negatron Cloak, but you still can because the W is the shield to buffer that fact, and it's not easy as an early laning Ahri to push a Diana out of lane. And really, Rhymeister's going to be running teleport against the expected Ignite also, and should be able to find advantages by getting maybe the first Dorans or a Dark Seal and just come back to lane and start actually threatening the kill, especially once he hits that level 6 mark. And man, I'm looking at Sin's team comp. I'm afraid if I were Hellions, because that's everything Sin wants and more.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you were to replace Nidalee with Rek'Sai, I might be a little bit more happy.
I would say Elise, yeah.
Yeah, also, or an Elise or something like that, something with some early ganking power. But I mean, the Nidalee is an incredibly strong champion. Juves has been stepping up to the plate, especially recently. We'll see whether he can transition to into this like slightly more carry style of jungler. And if that's the case, man, Juves would have stepped up so far from 5 weeks ago, or 5 games ago, that we last saw them drop a series. But ladies and gentlemen, we want to hear from you. If you think Hellions are going to be able to pull this one out, you know that they can still make it to the playoffs. Of course, Sin definitely in contention for that as well. Use that hashtag HLNWin and let us know over on Twitter. Of course, use that hashtag SinWin if you think that Sin can take it, or if you just like, you know, rhyming hashtags. I certainly do. I think that's pretty cool. Also use that hashtag IamOPL if you have anything else that you want to talk to us about, because, look, this series is going to be very exciting, especially moving into week 10.
And of course, you're not limited to one hashtag. Put them all together, mix them up, do what you like. Just make sure that it makes sense.
Hashtag Sin IamOPWinL.
I don't mean put all of the hashtags into one.
No, my bad. Well, we are into Summoner's Rift. Thank goodness. So we're going to have a look at the Keystone Masteries. Anything odd standing out for you there, Rusty?
Nothing odd standing out at all. Windspeaker's Blessing, of course, Denian's Mastery of Choice, which I very much appreciate. I think maybe Warlord's Bloodlust could stand out like a sore thumb to some people, but it makes a lot of sense on Sivir. You need that lifesteal. Lets you go 2 offensive items without lifesteal as well in your kit and be much more efficient. Lifesteal is a very gold efficient stat.
The thing that I got told is if you're going to build Essence Reaver, Warlord's Bloodlust very good. Because then you can go for that 3rd item, Infinity Edge.
Yeah. And Sivir, very much with the Essence Reaver, seems to be a bit stronger now as well.
Yeah.
Because you are not used to having 40% CDR on Sivir.
34 seconds or something, the cooldown of her ultimate, max
Feels
rank.
a bit like Ashe as well,
So,
you know?
so silly, man.
People
Really
sleep
silly.
on Ashe, but you can still have a 40-second arrow, you know?
Yeah.
Kind of a big deal.
It's a super big deal. Oh, man. Well, Sin are going to start towards the top side of the map here with the jungle top lane duo.
Juice right now has got 4 traps set up at the double golems, where he could have had 1 at the Raptors, 1 at the red buff to preemptively set up the rest of his clear, where he's not going to be getting a leash. He doesn't effectively need these other traps. And he only just, like, got nothing from those extra traps, really.
Unless Chippies wanted to get into lane so he could fight fast.
So the thing is, the minions in the first wave, they're all really nice to each other now, right? Like, they have fair combat.
Kindness minions.
If you put traps on every other camp, and you get an extra couple of hits, which is what you can afford to do now as Chippies in this top lane, then you would have a much more efficient clear elsewhere on the map.
I like it. Well, Bomb going quite aggressive here against Rymeister, who just pops Pale Cascade. More than happy to try and shove this one out if he can. Passive there going to be used for the extra AoE clear. Is Denian actually going to discover Juice and Chippies here in the jungle as they have gone for that lane swap? Pulverize is going to knock the kitty up, but I believe that's a spear landing.
Ignite.
Yeah, Ignite's already down. Of course, the charm did land, which did prompt that. As
Rogue's
now
here,
Rogue's coming round. Bomb could be in trouble. Orbit Deception not going to find the true damage on the way back, but Winter's Bite does connect. He flashes forward. One more auto. He's going to get the stun as Rymeister flashes, picks it up with the Q, and Sin already on the board.
And Rogue with the early rotations, of course. The lane swap put in place by Hellions, unlocking the Braum. On the flip side, nothing doing from Denian as he was chased out. So Sin, they rotate earlier, and they rotate much more successfully this time around. Rogue MVP in that engage.
And Rymeister already ahead in this lane. So scary. We've seen Sin. This is their identity a whole lot of the time, is get Rymeister ahead, facilitate him from there, create this massive split-pushing threat in the Diana. It's no secret, but it just seems to happen over and over again.
And I will say that Bomb's aggression was warranted, but the Ignite in particular was so unnecessary. He was never going to look to kill Rymeister. It was actually just to push him out of lane, honestly. And then you're wasting your kill threat on someone who has a teleport. So Rymeister didn't even have to use his flash, walked away, and then flashed to get the first blood.
Yeah, the pressure Ignite.
Like, look at the difference between these mid laners right now, and Rymeister walked to lane. So he can afford to be aggressive, take trades, and then teleport back in, and still out-trade Bomb, who is already zoned.
Yeah, already with the level advantage here as well. So Rymeister very, very strong. Juves still taking jungle camps. We'll see whether he does spot this pink or doesn't. Because he does get some deep vision. Just going to smack up this Raptor camp as well. Not a whole lot that the Hellions can do about it at the moment. These kitties just pouncing all around the enemy jungle. And now Sin with this lead. See what they can manage to pick up, as they didn't quite get the bottom outer turret. So slight advantage for Hellions in that department as far as this lane swap is concerned.
Got 3 here as well.
Yeah.
Oh, they're in.
Yeah, there's the Flash Pulverize as well. Is Kadra going to get delivered? Flash Body Slam comes down from Soul Strike, but it's a fantastic use of the Spell Shield to save Kadra's life there. I believe that was on the Rend as well. So important. Hellions don't manage to pick that one up, and a lot expended from both sides.
And let's call a mistake, okay? So he didn't actually use the Spell Shield earlier, where he potentially could have. I'm not sure how well they stacked CC on, but it was quite delayed from Denian. So surprisingly, did not use the Spell Shield that entire time. Of course, used it where appropriate to get himself out to safety, so well-timed on the back end. I'm still unsure, because it felt like he could have used it earlier.
Yeah, I want to say that he leveled up during the exchange and then skilled it or something. That'd be the coolest way. That'd be the coolest way for it to happen. But Juves is actually going to hit Soul Strikes here. Launches on top of him. Nice use of the Body Slam, though, because Soul Strikes. Chunky fat man, able to get some work done.
So Juves isn't done with the trade, whereas Soul Strikes is the one-and-done trade champion in the jungle. Needs to be careful, because the second that next spear connected, Juice had an opportunity to go in. Of course, Denian's here, and Juice not wanting to take a risk with the lack of vision they had set up, but needs to be a little bit more respectful of the Nidalee after the first trade here, Solstar. Of course, the body slam also interrupts the counts when done right.
Another nice knock up there as Frey putting some sticks into Cardred. Stun is going to go down though. Frey's in a whole host of trouble. The exhaust is there, but the Callista's going to fall. Teleport comes in from Sinners. Rhymice is going to turn up. Denian is going to follow suit with the death. And it's going to be another Q picking up another kill for Rhymeister.
And this is the advantage. The teleports offer. Sin coming out to a massive lead at 6 minutes in this game. Hellions are not slowing down, and that is a commendable feat of them to not actually get affected by the early kills. Still be aggressive, still look for them aggressively. This time around, they don't get what they were looking for. Sin come up trumps once more.
And arguably, I mean, Hellions won the lane swap because they managed to take the turret and save their own, at least for the first time. But Sin have just been playing these micro interactions, the skirmishes, so incredibly well, as they do, in the end, even out those turrets as well.
Yeah.
Down to the bottom side.
I mean, at the end of the day, like, they actually chose the kill over pushing the turret down effectively, but they got the kill. So directly losing the lane swap isn't necessarily true. The actual, like, the big thing about that is Rhymeister didn't have to teleport to lane because he got the free kill. He was ahead, and he was doing work against Bomb in a 1v1. So he used the teleport later at level 5 to go down bottom. That's the teleport he may not have had otherwise, right? So it's small things that actually mean a big deal and give Sin the advantage, because that tower still goes down. It is a Sivir after all.
Yeah. Well, Bomb now just clearing out minions here in the mid lane. 10 CS behind, going for that Abyssal Scepter as item number 1. You can see it is the Nash's Tooth that Rhymeister's looking to pick up. So already grabbing that huge split pushing item. We're going to move the bottom lane here already towards the middle lane. And Bomb's been kept down sort of this whole game. It's been Chippies, it's been Rhymeister, and now it's the bottom lane, all sort of babysitting this mid.
Yeah, so the rotation they're making now is to what appears to be put Rhymeister bottom, because Cardred is safer farming in this middle lane when he's in between item buys. He also has the Cull, so very much looking to farm. Rhymeister, if he is looking to stay bottom, it is a very early rotation towards his bottom split pushing lane. Of course, Hellions want the outer turret, so needs to show respect to the amount of ganks he could receive, especially when he's left alone.
Yeah, a bit of extra money there on Rhymeister as well. As even 2 is going to build you up a slight bounty. So Soulstrike's paying attention towards that bottom side. Ryu's actually moving in as well.
They'll try and dive him.
Yeah, there's the barrel into the wall. Headbutt Pulverize comes down. The slow comes in. But you can see Pale Cascade doing some work. They do have to use the ultimate on Callista in order to get the cow out of there. Sin's teleport is going to be expended.
Yeah. So Sin actually burned the teleport. They don't have a teleport remaining. Ryu walked. And he was just very much aware in advance of where they were looking to go. Unfortunately for Hellions, execution wasn't entirely there. Gragas' ultimate knocked him into the wall, not to the team. And Alistar used a full combo instead of just a headbutt, followed by the delayed pulverize. They don't get it, but Fate's Call's enough to keep him alive.
Yeah, nice work keeping Denian alive, and actually really like sort of having a Fate's Call for Denian, who can often sort of find himself in slightly over-aggressive positions.
As is custom.
Yep, says Max, trying to say it as nicely as possible.
It's just a historically accurate thing, you know?
Yeah.
The man doesn't have a backwards flash option.
No, he doesn't.
Plays Janna. Doesn't have a backwards flash option.
Sorry. How do you dodge a death sentence? You flash over it into the enemy team.
Yeah, forgetting they may have a Malphite. Everyone's got problems, I guess.
Beautiful. That is one play that I will just remember forever. As Denian is going to get caught out of position. The level 6 has been hit, though, as he just knocks Rhymeister away. Stun is going to come down. You can see Unbreakable Will doing some work here for Denian, but he's in a whole host of trouble. Chippies picks it up once the ultimate falls off. Orbit Deception with a fair bit of damage there, as the skill shots are going to go wide of Bomb. Sin still managing to pack on the hurt.
Yeah, so they're probably going to force, at the very least, Trundle's teleport here if they wish to defend this turret, and it will have to happen now. They may not. Yeah, they concede.
Yeah, Spear going to go wide as the slow goes down. Charm not going to find Chippies. As Rhymeister going to start this one up onto Soulstrike's. Nice flash is going to come out as the ultimate comes in, just smacks the fat man away. You'll just say, all right, well, I was going to go back
Soul
anyway.
Strikes, you should probably walk from there. It's actually faster.
Oh, teleport coming in. The flank to start here from the Hellions.
No way.
But it's a little bit late. Traffic cone.
You have to question the decision-making there for the teleport. I understand that he had the teleport advantage and he was potentially looking to use that, but they get 2 turrets and he used it after, which is unfortunate.
Well, Spooks has come in with a tweet here. Good choice of Gragas skin from Soul Strikes. Thank you very much, Sam.
Gragas.
Yeah.
The best. It should have been called Gragas, not Gragas Esquire.
Never actually thought of that. That was a good one.
That's all I call it. Maybe that makes me a bad person.
Oh, no, I like underwater Gragas.
Scuba?
Yeah.
No, so Scuba is actually the OG, like if you play Scuba Gragas, you're a Gragas Pro.
Really?
That was the rule of thumb on NA.
Wow. I should never use that skin.
Hillbill is the other heritage one as well. Like the original ones is like you've been playing Gragas for a long time, you're a pro. Because who would buy the Scuba Gragas or Hillbilly Gragas skin now, right?
I love the Scuba Gragas.
No,
What are you
they're
talking
good.
about? Yeah.
But if I had to compare them to like the Esquire one, it's amazing.
Okay,
right?
yeah,
Like,
that's a good point. That is a good point.
whereas Santa's the novelty one where you know they're not exactly the best
Yeah.
Gragas player on average, I will say. There are exceptions.
I'm just learning so
I've got
much
the rule
about-
of thumb down for
Yeah,
Gragas
it's like
skins.
Gragas etiquette that I'm learning. It's beautiful.
I played one champion, all right?
Yep, I remember. And as soon as your ping improved, you couldn't play the champion with only skill shots.
yeah.
Very, very strange stuff.
200 ping the dream.
Yeah, beautiful. Take us back to NA.
No, thank you.
Denny's going to get stunned here.
He
He's in
is.
a whole bunch of
Oh.
trouble. The ultimate's used. Fate's Call comes out as well. And I feel like that just seemed like a brain lapse.
Not entirely sold on the strategy there from Hellions. Once again, getting caught in
Bomb.
rotation.
Yeah, ultimate has to be burnt here from Bomb as well. So that's 3 ults in a matter of minutes. As
Whoa.
Juves is going to head over the top. Couple of charges left here for Bomb as he just ignites Juves, who flashes over the wall.
Bomb loves using Ignite.
He does.
Like, he really loves using Ignite. I don't often see a reason for it, but he does love it. Not to actually find a kill this time around, of course, Juice. And to use the flash, so that's worth it.
Yeah, trading flash for ignite. Not bad. I'll take it.
But it's a jungler flash, which is less prevalent. Of course, the later in the game you get, a flash is still a flash. Just the Juice can kind of hide himself.
Well, if we have a look at the items now, Rymeister has picked himself up the Nash's Tooth, going towards that Abyssal Scepter as item number 2. We'll be able to deal with the magic damage very effectively from the Gragas and the Ahri. Ryu looking to build up towards that Titanic Hydra as quickly as he possibly can. Doesn't quite have the Tiamat just yet, but he's getting there. Getting closer and closer. Chippy's looking for the Sunfire Cape, grabbing himself, of course, the Iceborne Gauntlet afterwards. Poppy's build pretty set in stone at the moment. Very, very strong.
Trundle's always going to be an issue as the game gets later on as well. The split pushing can become a real pain. Of course, this is where Rymeister is the answer. Keeping in mind he has teleport, so Hellion's opting not to rotate towards it, instead want the dragon. Some questionable decisions, honestly, from the Hellion's roster thus far. This one could prompt a fight, but Sin could just keep going.
Yeah, I don't know why Rymeister's backing. He could just take down
Probably
this
has
turret.
Item.
Oh, there's the flash actually from Denny and trying to get some work done, but he doesn't have the ult, remember. And he's just going to die. Massive ult comes out of Chippy's and Soul Strikes. Now on his own, smacked into the wall. Chippy's just outplaying that fight so nicely. Juves over the top. Going to look for the spear. Doesn't quite get it as Hellions have to give up this red buff as well. And Sin playing like they've got everything to prove this game.
They absolutely are proving whatever it is they think they have to right now. This is a crazy performance from this so far. Even Chippy's executing on this Poppy has been very impressive. Juice shown up on the Nidalee. Rymeister shows he's really strong at hitting down turrets. And this gold lead is ridiculous at 14 minutes in this game.
This is 8,000 gold at 15 minutes.
It's actually
That's
absurd.
Yeah, ludicrous. 50 CS lead for this Diana, who's been split pushing everywhere. Yeah, traffic cone comes in. Ryu, yes, there are roadworks in this lane. Everything's
Rymeister is
getting
so
torn
stuck.
apart. Yeah, he's actually just stuck into the wall as he has to flash out. Spear's going to land from Juice as Hellions are going to try and utilize this one. Flashes! He's able to get the knock-up on a Chippies who just flashes out of the way. Sin looking for the disengages. In goes Rymeister. Massive moonfall as he knocks everyone up. It's a big knock up to change it though as the shutdown comes in. Frey trying to dance around. It's already 2 dead on the side of Hellions though, but Frey, one last auto attack and he gets collapsed on. Denian tries to help out, but he can't as Ryu, now with nowhere else to go, is just going to get taken down, and the cow, yeah, you'll get delivered back to the paddock. It's a double kill here for Siva and the ace for Sin.
And Sin are definitely executing this so well. Every individual member of this team has showed up to play right now. Such an impressive performance, honestly. That team fight as well was just... Hellions have consistently felt desperate. Yeah, that is how this game feels right now, and Sin are capitalizing on that desperation, picking up fight after fight and kill after kill.
Yeah, and Hellions just, they honestly look like they don't quite understand what is going on, even still. Look at that moonfall.
And the unfortunate thing is, like, the re-engage from Hellions was great. Denian knocks up 3 people, Frey's putting work in on the back end, but Kardra is just here. Like, Kardra is still full health. Chippies doesn't need health to do his job, so like, it's just so simple for Kardra right now to be on cleanup duty. It's a red buff Siva, most importantly. That's why he was late. He was getting red buffs.
Yes, of course.
But the re-engage from Sin, after the re-engage happened from Hellions, just doesn't end.
Well, Soul Strikes looking for a body slam at a Juice, who gets headbutted back, but nothing to come from it. He's going to take himself down the Rift Skull. You can see Sin now setting up for this 1-3-1. As Chippies has set that one up to push. Now has the Iceborne Gauntlet already completed. Has a slight CS advantage as well, but the Titanic Hydra is done for Ryu. They're getting some items. Abyssal Scepter on bomb there as well as the Blade of the Ruined King's being completed here for Frey. I have the Equinox at the same time for Denian has been completed. So some items have been built up for the Hellions, but 2 to 11. And that's already.
But it's 11k.
An 11,000 gold lead at 17 minutes. Like, this is insane.
So, like, the only real solace that Hellions can take is their base isn't broken.
Whoa, okay. 4,000 gold lead for Rymeister in mid lane.
It's
so much money, Rusty.
It's one of those things you look at and you say, it's not okay.
Yeah, it's not okay, man.
But the only thing that is their base is alive. So,
yep.
Sin can't win till they kill the Nexus. Right now, they're pushing towards it, but until it's dead, Hellions still have a fighting chance. If there's one thing that they're doing, it's fighting.
Yep. That being said, Kardrad's got the donkey whistle. You can just tell his team to go whenever he feels like it. But, you know, do they have enough siege potential here on the side of Sin? Is that somewhere that Hellions might be able to turtle this one out? Just eat the waves heading towards him. Oh my god. See you later, bomb, as he has to flash, but uses it exactly the right time to get out of the way of Rymeister. We went for the extra Lunar Rush. The execute.
I mean, if that says anything, Sin's strategy is 1-3-1.
Oh my god.
No, I'd be surprised if they don't commit to that, as of course 18 minutes. There's no Baron to take.
Nope, but the ultimate's been popped here from Sin. Kardrad wants to go. Nice traffic cone, but the flash over the top as Rogue sets up this kill. The ultimate comes down. Frey gets knocked up. Nice exhaust onto Juice there in the backline. It's Ryu. Somehow still alive with the subjugate running. Denian right in amongst it. Massive knock up. Kardrad delivered to the team. Shutdown goes in for Frey. Nice pickup there from Hellions as they lose their bottom inhibitor turret.
And this is the problem. They're not looking to 5v5. That was meant to be a pick from Sin. But you can't pick a Trundle when he's that close to his base. Gets out. And they pick up one. But Rymeister is not slowing down. The onslaught continues.
Yeah, base is broken here. Even more global gold added to Sin's pockets. There's now Frey with the double buffs. Feeling pretty good. But it does feel like super desperation moves here from Hellions.
But this is do or die for Hellions. This series means everything. So
yeah,
there's no point in them sitting down and letting them win game one. They may as well go down fighting. Channeling Sin, I will say, in that respect.
Yep,
pulling their Fido out.
Damn right. But Rymeister's very close to having, you know, he had these items before and we're like, oh, Death Cap second item. Whoa! But then he just went ahead and built the Zhonya's and the Abyssal Scepter anyway, just got those two portions of it first. So we'll see exactly what he does want to pick up, as he will be sitting on a bunch of bank. As red buff is just going to be taken away here. Rymeister may as well utilize it. There he is. Picks that one up.
If this game's not a death cap, I'd be disappointed.
I would be so disappointed, man. The insta-kill potential out of this this Diana is definitely there. It's a 2-level advantage. Was 3 previously. He's level 13 already.
Getting so much. Oh, yeah. Picks up the Zhonya's. See, look, this is what he does.
That's fine.
Yeah, I know it's fine.
It's
but-
fine. It's just he's so far ahead. I wish he was greedy. You know? Here he comes, though.
Yeah, looking
They
for
can
it
dive.
now as Chippies. Yep. Just going to get smacked by a traffic cone. This inhibitor is in trouble, though, as Lunar Rush can be used onto Bomb as Denian gets a nice double knockup.
They're in again.
Rymeister is actually going to get singled out, but he has the Zhonya's. Ultimate comes in from Chippies as they just destroy Soul Strikes. Freight doing his very best to kite around, but Kadra just has so much damage. The ultimate comes in from Rogue. They're trying to lock down these Hellions members, but Sin, they've got the pick and they've got the inhibitor.
And Sin, they do play it cool, calm, and collected. They don't go for the end after taking down the inhibitor. 4 people still alive.
Just want to say right now, if Rymeister had a death cap, he would have been dead instead of...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's,
yeah.
I was having a laugh.
No, but I still think that it would have been cooler. Irrespective.
Fair enough.
Just, it's good to see that patience plays off.
Good to see that building properly wins games in competitive League of Legends. Let's just go with that.
Yeah, that's exactly right. He's got a 60 CS advantage there as well as he takes down himself the Rift Scuttler. They've got that Baron inhibitor as well. This could be a real big deal. That big purple monster could be an option here for Sin. Although 22 minutes into the game, it's pretty difficult to tank that thing up.
They got a Diana who's got the shield. They've got Poppy as well. He's working towards some big items. Has already got armor there. And Juice to heal people. Like this, Sin roster can definitely do Baron quite effectively. And Hellions are very much aware of that fact.
Yeah, got the split pushing Trundle there towards the bottom side of the map, understanding that they need the teleport in order to actually challenge for this Baron, making sure that they can get some of the vision. At least. There is a blue trinket available for Ryu. That is it. So none to be used towards this Baron pit.
Yeah, so it's been used. Like they've got no vision left. And sooner or later, once all the wards are cleared and the dust settles, one is still standing, of course, near the pit. And Hellions will have to face check. Or just do it now.
Denian just
Get
gonna
him.
get smacked against the wall.
Silly cow.
Yeah. Vision denied though, as Hellions do
Yeah,
move
that's
up.
big. So this is now the moment where Hellions don't have vision. They have to start checking. Of course, Sin's still standing on the one ward that's very shallow.
It's actually, I think, 2 wards.
He can
they have.
engage
Oh,
on-
there it is. Juves in a whole host of trouble, but the barrel not quite in the right spot as Bomb. He's just dead as Kadra's able to pick that one up. Fate Skull comes in. Denian going to survive for now, but Frey's just knocked all the way out. Ryu's going to get destroyed as Chippies has been playing so well, man. Breaking up these team fights. Sin grab another couple as the solo laners go down from Hellions. We'll see how much more of the base is going to fall as Sin move in.
This is definitely looking dangerous now for Hellions. One funny thing that did happen there, though, is Chippies used the ultimate, knocked Frey away, whilst he had Denian in Fate's Call. So 2 people with one ult, technically, but they both get out to safety from it.
The 2-for-1 special.
But there it is.
Yeah, so second inhibitor is going to fall. As Sin say, all right, I'm happy to take that counter engage. That being said, I mean, if Hellions weren't this far behind, that sort of pickoff, that sort of play here in the mid to late game would have been really, really cool. Unfortunately, just way too far behind. Don't have the tools. Can let that happen.
Yeah.
And it's a best of 3 series. Hopefully, Hellions can find something in game number 2. Because, honestly, they've just been outclassed from minute 1 this game.
It was the lane swap, plain and simple. What they want to do is probably just standard lanes.
Yeah.
And giving them Sivir Braum, pretty scary. But of course, you're a Kalista, so you can afford to 2v2. You can afford to fight. And then they really broke it after one tower went down. So really, it was just a missed execution on the lane swap. And that's something that Hellions can definitely look at and try and fix for the second game. To get it together, though, very quickly, because Sin don't slow down when they find advantages. They're a momentum team. And more often than not, they'll take a 2-0 than go to 3.
Well, Sin just clearing out even more vision here. They get rid of a couple of wards for the one sweeper. Definitely worth it. Kadra is just going to shove out this mid lane. Rymeister now towards the top side. The last remaining inhibitor on the map here for the Hellions. That bot lane will be respawning relatively soon. But Sin just setting up for the Baron. They are going to start it now as well as Chippies moves in. You can see Diana was
no
just
vision
playing.
at all.
Yeah, there's nothing forever on this map as Sin has lit up the top side jungle of the Hellions like a Christmas tree. Sin will be able to take down this Baron very, very quickly and handily.
They lose a bit of health there as Juve's down to about half, but they grab the Baron, and now they've got empowered creeps in order to push down this last remaining inhibitor turret.
Yeah, that's a teleport on Rymeister as well with his Void stuff, so no doubt he'll start trying to get that home guard in and force them away. As with one inhibitor remaining, this is do or die for Hellions. They have to engage now.
There's a Z0 portal in the mid lane as well.
That's the TP.
Yeah, Rymeister looking for the flanking players. He's just going to run straight in there. Q lands onto Soul Strikes, but
There
he
it
can't
is.
quite find his entrances. There's the knock-up. Chippy's actually going to get engaged on as he has to flash out of the way. Soul Strike's in so much trouble, but he lives for now. Rymeister just tanking up this turret. He's very, very deep. Meanwhile, the rest of Sin just dealing with everyone. The shutdown does come in, as it is going to be Frey picking up the kill, but the
Frey's-
collateral
ooh.
damage is most of the Hellion lineup. Ryu now trying to kite this one back. Frey on the fountain now as well as Cardred just chucking auto attacks into him, but Sin now with minions on the Nexus, looking just to focus on the game rather than killing the Hellions members. In goes Chippies as he looks for both Frey and Ryu, but man, what a dominant performance from this Sin lineup.
Across the board here, Sin, if they decide they want to end the game. What a very impressive game one, though, honestly. Whew. Every single member, the way they played the game, the way they played the map as well was solid. And this is the thing about Sin Gaming. They play League of Legends. They don't just play their opponent. Hellions, they're playing aggro. And they really did come in with a plan. They just flunked the plan, unfortunately for them.
Yeah, unfortunately. I mean, they managed to get the tower very, very quickly in the lane swap scenario, but unfortunately, you give Rymeister first blood, that kind of lead, he's the type of player that says you give him a finger, he'll take your entire body. Like, you don't even have an analogy that makes enough sense in order to get it out there, because this guy just runs you over the top.
Yeah, absolutely. Sin, that was a strong game one.
Just ridiculous. We are going to throw it back to the analyst desk for some further breakdown of that game.
Thank you so much, Atlas. That was a pretty one-sided affair in the end, with Sin Gaming taking in very convincing fashion 25 minutes in. But let's have a look at actually how this broke down, because we actually think that, you know, maybe it shouldn't have gone that way. Maybe it was actually Hellions with a couple of slip-ups giving an early advantage over to Sin Gaming.
Yeah, I completely agree. That was definitely Hellions' game to win in the first, 10 minutes. And we actually have the replay. We're going to take a look at the lane swap. We're going to explain where the Hellions went so wrong. So what you're looking at right now is the lane swap has started. You can see in the bottom, you've got Cardred and Rogue down there on the tower. The first blood has already gone through, so Rogue has already done his roam. And in the top, the Hellions are actually pushing down the tower. Now, the camera's going to swap down, and you're going to see that Sin have lost control of the wave. They don't have a big enough wave behind them. Because Rogue roamed to the mid lane and Chippies was delayed, he was actually on the top side of the map, Sin completely fumbled the lane swap. Now, what you don't see after that replay is the tower goes down for Hellions, and at that point, they should have looked bottom, seen that Sin had lost control of the minion wave, so they weren't able to trade the tower, and they should have kept going. They had a sizable wave that they actually could have applied pressure to the second tier top tower, and that would have put them above and beyond ahead in that game.
Yeah, it certainly was the case. And the biggest thing to me is, you know, they swap back down into the bottom lane, and in fact, they try and start taking skirmishes, and it just doesn't go their favor. Instead of just playing a PvE-based objective, you know, pushing through turrets, making sure they control top side of the jungle, really starting to starve them off all these objectives, they give the game back over to Sin in this scrappy gameplay, and once again, Sin come up trumps.
I feel like on the other side, it was just like, okay, yeah, PvE is sort of a fumble there for Sin early on, but they just ignore it. Honestly, they're like, keep fighting all the time. Double TP usage is really effective. They're just going in for every single fight, and we heard it from the casters, like, you can't afford to let Rymeister snowball. Juve's on an aggressive champion in Italy this time, was able to just commit his body and damage to every single gank. And when you fight that much, Nidalee's awesome. Like, she's really good at dueling people. If you're fighting all the time, Diana Nidalee every single time.
Yeah,
easily.
and they, you know, Rymeister this game, it wasn't actually, to me, a huge Rymeister carry game, because he's had those before, right, where he's like the million kills guy. This was more like Rymeister was a pressure point that no one could respond to, and it made that the rest of Hellions had to group up. But the problem is you're grouping up against a Sivir, a Poppy, and a Nidalee who are already ahead of you, and that just led to Sivir, like, smashing everyone along with Chippy's Poppy.
And yeah, we're going to talk about Sivir now. This is what this has come to. So the big thing about Sivir, and we're going to kind of cover all the big points, she actually did 20,000 damage to champions in this game. That was the most. It was Sivir, Nidalee, and then it was Diana. So Rymeister, like you said, went for the split push, went for that pressure point, but he wasn't actually the big damage dealer. I believe we have a Sivir graphic. There we go. Okay. So the big 4 points for Sivir is going to be the Warlord's Bloodlust. We're going to cover the Mastery first. And Rusty covers this all the time. We've said it in the previous cast. Why this Mastery matters on Sivir is because of her build path. So the difference between Sivir and someone like Kalista or Ezreal is Kalista and Ezreal get a 2-item power spike. Sivir and champions like Ashe, they need a 3-item power spike. They need the Essence Reaver, the Zeal, and then they go into the Infinity Edge. Typically the Zeal gets the upgrade. And the Warlord's Bloodlust allows them to have the Lifesteal to come in on the 4th item because that's what it bridges. So effectively, you don't get punished, and it makes that build more effective. So that's the effective build on Sivir. Then you also have the fact that she's the only champion in the game where you can hit the tank front line and you can crit the back line. You have to think of how many AoE crits are actually in the game. You have Gangplank, Tristana, and Jinx. And no AoE ults will work that way. Effectively, for the other 3 AoE crits, you have to stand on top of them. Like if Jinx is hitting your tank and it's getting the splash damage on the crit, the carry has to be standing right next to the tank. There's never going to be a situation where that's happening. Sivir, it doesn't matter. You could be versing a Kog'Maw. He's way back, but if they're grouped up at all, Sivir's bouncing blades are going to get there and crit the back line. So it compensates for her short range. Then on top of that, you have her ability to engage on champions with her on the hunt. Like her mid-game power trough is augmented by the fact that she makes her team so much faster in a map that's opening up so much sooner. We were 18 minutes in that game, and Hellions had lost, I think, like 5 towers. That's so far to run back to safety, which just empowers Sivir even more. Pick that champion.
Yeah, and just to follow up a little bit more, like, you used to see, like, 4th item lifesteal a lot, so that kind of eliminates that need. And also, like, generally, you want Fervor for trading.
Yep.
But when you're Sivir, super safe AD carry, don't need to trade, just can farm. Sivir's great.
I say it all the time. You don't lane against Sivir, you lane against the minions that Sivir shoves into your turret over and over again. However, guys, that means that Sim pick up game number 1. Don't go anywhere because game number 2 will be around the corner in 3.5. See you then. Welcome back to the OPL, where we just saw Sin absolutely tear through Hellions in a game one. Pretty one-sided affair. And we're here to break down what we expect out of game number 2. And I just want to kick off, I was like, they've got a substitute. Maybe it wasn't so bad. Then I actually caught myself and I was like, you know what? That was just a piss-poor performance out of Hellions. Like, that was really disappointing to me. Watching a team that is supposed to be on the rise just make fundamental errors around the map and just get punished.
And it wasn't necessarily even the sub player. The jungler...
Soulstrike looked good.
Yeah, exactly. It was mostly Denian, to be honest. You think about the big turning point of that game was when Denian on Alistar, I think he was trying to deep ward, he walked in front of... such disrespect. Just walked in front of the enemy team about 3 different times and was picked off massively. The big one, though, is it translated into 2 mid-tier towers going down. That's massive. Never walk in front of the enemy team.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Diana especially just punishes you by doing horrible things to towers, especially when ahead. For me, though, I'm actually sad that the Best Friends Club got broken up a bit. Ryu and Soulstrikes. I was ready for Soulstrikes to be back into the OPL. Such an awesome player. He was known for really helping Ryu top lane. I think the lane swap really hurt them. Hellions, I think they're pretty good in standard lanes. Sol and Ryu should know exactly how that dynamic works. I wouldn't mind seeing them swap back.
See, I actually think the early kill hurt them a lot. And I'm going to go back to something that when you're in a lane swap, your mid laner should never die.
Yep.
And I don't mean on a rare occasion he might. You just never die in a 1v1 lane swap. The reason you don't die is because you should know what side of the jungle they're on. And he knew. He knew that there was someone on the top side. He knows that Brom's not in the bottom lane because you can see that he's not standing with a creep wave.
Vision, yeah.
Just don't go aggressive. He ignites someone in the mid lane with 3 people missing on the map. There's only 5 people in the game of League of Legends. That's a large percentage. So that really frustrated me, Brom. Pick up your game. But across the board, you got to give compliments to Sin because they seem to be a team that if you make a mistake on Sin will punish you over and over again with it. Atlas said it about Rymeister. I want to extend it to the whole Sin lineup. You make a mistake against this team, and they run away with games right now.
They're really good snowball packers, I think. They're a team that when they get going, they got a little bit of snow, pick up more,
and it just rolls along.
It in, and they're like, oh, that's cool. Sitting up 5k gold, pretty big kill. They're like, oh, I guess we push.
But it's how Sin play. And Rusty said it during the game. Sin play the map. They don't play the team. So a difference in how Legacy Snowball versus how Sin Snowball is when Legacy Snowball, one of them gets super fed and that person continues to smash you and smash their lane. If it's someone like Carbon, yes, the map can get out of control. But chances are you're still just going to continue to kill people with the advantage. When Sin gets some sort of advantage or in a pick, it immediately translates into a tower. It always translates into an objective, so it's never a scenario where, okay, Rymeister is super fed, he's only just going to sit in his lane and just continue to abuse it. No, he's going to TP. Suddenly you're everywhere on the map, and that's the big difference.
And I think for me, a lot of that is Rai being enabled with the teleport champions. Yes, he's playing a lot of assassins and split pushes and carry-style champions, but I feel like TP especially is an important spell for Rai. He's a smart player. I know he understands the game well. And he'd be able to make that sort of influence on the map really push us in forward.
Yeah, he certainly could. And the scary thing about that game, for me at least, is that wasn't even Sim playing flawlessly. There was a team fight where Chippy kicked 3 people out. Chippy's kicked 3 people out of the Dragon Pit. That would have been an ace. There was a team fight in the bottom lane that they actually lost because of a nice re-engage. They gave her a shutdown in top lane because they engaged onto Trundle.
The lane swap in general was
lane swap in general. This could have been a whole lot worse. So now the question I pose to you is, how do Hellions turn this around? Is there anything in their power that they can do to really set up a clean game too? Is it the standard lanes, do you think, Pastry Time? What are we looking at?
I think standard lanes is important, but when you look at how Sin play, if you win a game like that with that many fumbles, it really just proves what Froskurin is saying is that your fundamentals are very strong. Hellions, they need to just play the map like they expect to play it, and they should be just fine as far as the individual players go. The issue, though, is that fixing your fundamentals doesn't necessarily happen game to game.
I agree with Jake and with Julian. I think that the Hellions should look for a standardized lane. They have a sub-jungler. I mean, even though he's played with Ryu in the past, I just want to see them give Ryu a 1v1 and let that jungler camp his lane.
Well, we'll see if that is something they're able to execute on, because we are ready to get into game number 2. So here is Atlas and Rusty to take us on to Summoner's Rift.
Thank you very much, Spawn Man. I loved that snowball analogy that Julian pulled out.
In there.
Just packing the snowball, because it's exactly what they managed to do.
Yeah.
It's as soon as one kill goes down in the mid lane, it's well, pack it up. It's all done, because Rymeister just translated that everywhere.
I think, the easiest way to describe it is the snowball hurts more if it's back tighter. So it's going to do a bit of damage. Of course, Sin, it's as simple as saying don't give them the wombo, but they've diversified to the point where it's don't give them the early game.
Yeah.
Because they can take the game from just the early game.
And also, don't give Rymeister a position of power. If he's ever in a position where he can threaten you in a lane, It's like, it feels like it's all over.
It directly translates to the same thing, right?
Well,
So
yeah. It's
the team
just
feeds off
frightens.
Rymeister feeling good. Very easy to work off.
Well, we'll see exactly how that is going to be picked up this game around, as Sin do have to try and do it again. This is a best-of-3 series, and Hellions have a chance to answer back. Now switching sides, as Anivia once again going to be banned. Corki going to be the follow-up there from Sin, as Hellions take away Yasuo and Diana already. So making sure that Rymeister has as little options as possible. Here, of course, they do have the counter pick, because that could be a big deal for Bomb there in the mid lane, answering Rymeister and whatever he picks up.
Absolutely. We just spoke about red side for Rymeister being quite good because he always gets that last pick, and they do prioritize Rymeister getting the last pick, of course. I don't think he'll be too concerned given that Yasuo and Diana are banned. He'll probably just revert to some kind of control mage, perhaps a LeBlanc, which needs to be considered by Hellions. They'll still be drafting it late, and if they want to give the last pick to Bomb, they will be willingly giving over that LeBlanc.
Well, Gangplank has been banned away, of course, from Chippies and Rymeister on the side of Hellions, of course, leaving the Cogmore available. That could be where Sin decide to go. Of course, Callista there at the same time. We did see Radius Cogmore go pretty insane in game number 3 yesterday. See whether Sin are going to snap it up immediately, whether it is going to be the Hellions taking it this time around on the red side. Gragas is there, Nidalee is there, Elise is there, Rek'Sai is there, massive amount of junglers available. Of
So you
course,
don't
the
need
Poppy.
to first pick the jungle. I think
Yeah.
Poppy or Cogmore are probably the two big things.
Standout options here for Sin. Braum is
that.
another
Yep.
priority pick
Yep.
and is going to be picked up. Of course, very good in conjunction with the Cogmore.
Yep.
So I do like it.
It's by no means bad. Of course, the response could very easily be Morgana Cogmore, but I think that early drafting the Morgana would be too big of a risk as well. So just potentially Morgana on the team for Daniel. So if Hellions were to take Cogmore, it'd be now or never, most likely, because Sin have set themselves up for that pick later on in the second draft. And they've still got the Poppy standing. We'll see if Solstrax also prefers the Gragas once again.
Well, I mean, Gragas Poppy makes a lot of sense here for the Hellions if they want to grab it up. Of course, Solstrikes has the opportunity. They're hovering them at the moment, but it does mean that the Cogmore Braum will be an opportunity here for Sin. No one really looking at it yet. Of course, the Void Puppy, a lot of emphasis has been put on the guy with the Lulu, of course, but we saw doesn't necessarily have to be, as he does still do ridiculous things even without it, just with some support from something else instead.
I agree, and it's definitely like the Trundle perhaps could be picked with it.
Yep.
And you'll find that Sin's team composition still has some pretty good disengage. Of course, going for the Gragas on the side of Hellions with the Poppy are the two big disengage tools that generally go with the Cogmore when there's not a Lulu. So like when Cogmore's available, it's very much about trying to draft the best Cogmore team possible and trying to stop them from getting the best Cogmore team possible. And it becomes this mix and match of, well, they're going to pick this, but we need this, so let's take Poppy and Gragas, but we know we're giving, like, it's ridiculous, and Sin, they've locked it in.
Yeah, and Chippy's actually already taking that Trundle towards the top side of the map. So, of course, Trundle and Cogmore are a fantastic combination just because you can slow people down with the pillar, which gives Cogmore the opportunity to sit there and just spit on you. Pretty gross. So, with the Braum there as well, there's just lots of slow opportunity. We'll see what Hellions do answer with as Sivir, yet another option, sort of this answer to these hyper carries that we have been seeing. And of course, Frostgreen taking you guys down the journey that was Sivir in the last little breakdown. It's good to see her locked in now for Frey. See exactly what they can get done with the champion here.
I wouldn't mind Bard personally, but
Of course,
again, then
you love
we're...
Bud.
No, because it's just really good in Cogmore, right? He stands still, and then you just press
I know.
R. It's like he's a
It's just being
golden
that guy.
statue that's like mid-spit. It's great. Oh, there you go. Nailed it.
Well, it's going to be locked in. Nice work. Thank you very much. And this is Denian's Bud as well.
I'm actually just impressed
Whoa.
he did it, yeah.
Yeah.
Look, again, I was going to say...
That was too good.
I know.
That was way too good.
I was going to say before that was locked in as well that, honestly, I'm not sure if Denian can play Bard. I think the
No.
Bard's good. I think Bard's good with Sivir. I think it's the most oppressive 2v2 lane potentially in the game. But I question if Denian can play it.
Yeah, you're explaining to me actually because I was thinking about playing Bard today, and Rusty was like, it's easy to kill him, okay? So you need to make sure that you play very intelligently. So I immediately went to a different champion because I know that that's not something that I'm going to be able to do. But Denian, he's also another player that does like to put his face in it.
Yeah.
So we
So
do see Rymeister has picked up Azir.
he's definitely gone towards that Azir, and I think Azir's actually quite underrated still. Very strong champion, but only to the proficient Azir players. So I think the stat even in solo queue is over 100 games. He's still below 50%. So even 100 games on Azir is not enough. You need to actually be Easy Hoon-esque
Jesus.
in your
On a
Azir to make it
particular
work.
patch
And
at
we've
a
only
particular
seen...
time.
No, we're not comparing to Faker. We've only seen Choose in the OPL players here, I believe. And this is now going to be the second attempt from Rymeister.
Rymeister was very good on the champion last
Absolutely.
split.
And
Of
it's
course,
a
he
middle
hasn't changed
point
that much.
as well between like Assassin and Control Mage.
Yeah.
Feels like a Rymeister champion.
Oh, Bomb is actually going to go to a little bit more of that long range with the Lux being picked up on the side of the Hellions. But I love what Sin have done. This team comp is really, really cool because it's sort of saying, we're just going to slow you the heck down and we can disengage anything that you throw at us.
Yeah.
And that's how they're going to keep their Kog'Maw alive. Instead of buffing him up, giving him all the shields, all that sort of stuff, it's like, well, you're just never going to be able to get to it.
It's a protect the puppy, definitely, but with an offensive utility to it, right?
Yeah,
So,
I think it's really cool.
and this is the thing we see with a lot of these compositions and why Gragas is primarily picked away from it as well, because you've got hard engage and disengage now taken away from them. Azir is actually fitting the bill that other champions such as the Gragas may have filled.
Oh,
Now,
okay,
Rek'Sai still has the option of going in. Azir has the option of going in, or he can just use his ultimate and set up a wall in front of the Kog'Maw and say, you stand here and just press W.
I just
and
realized
kill the
as
team.
well, exactly the same as when Chuchu's played it, there is a Bard with a magical journey on the other team where you can just put a wall of soldiers in front of the end of the journey and they sort of just have to get stuck in the
They
wall for a
bounce
little
everywhere,
while.
yeah.
It's very confusing and a whole lot of fun. We'll see whether it happens again this game because this Sin team comp is really, really fun, but you're looking over the side of the Hellions and they've got a whole lot of fun tools as well. As the Poppy's now in their hands. The Gragas back there again for Soul Strikes, who did show some skill. But we want to hear from you. Use that hashtag Sin if you think this is going to be a 2-0 victory. And Sin are going to be able to tie themselves with the Chiefs one more time. Or if you think Hellions can fight back, get that 2-1 victory and get themselves an opportunity to get into the playoffs. Use that hashtag HLNwin. And use that hashtag IMOPL if you want to say anything else. Of course, discussions about skins, you know, that one skin that all of the pros use. Maybe you want to let us know exactly which one is for you, because I heard Rusty having another conversation. I mean, Ezreal's getting in the mix.
Yeah, there's Ezreal's, there's Thresh as well. Ejim's passionate about not being championship Thresh.
Oh,
Only
really?
bad players take championship Thresh according to Ejim. Blood Moon is the superior Thresh.
Is it Blood Moon? I thought it would be like the first one.
Nah, Blood
the sort
Moon.
of underwater one. Okay, interesting.
Absolutely, and of course,
I like this conversation. See, that's why I brought it up.
Lux as well. Steel Legion is the scumbag skin.
Damn right
You
it
always
is.
go for this one. The
Yeah.
bomb is.
Anime Lux.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's like SingStar Lux almost. Like, I don't even know.
It is Popstar Lux, isn't it?
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
basically?
yeah.
Okay, good. Arcade. I don't remember what it's called. Never
So
mind.
we're looking at the Keystone Masters as well. The one that Frostgurn extensively went through with item builds
Yeah.
as well. Picked up once more for Siva. And of course, it makes a lot of sense to go for this. As
Yeah,
good as Fervor may be.
And it's really, really cool, right? Because you've got a champion that epitomizes picking up Fervor because you're going to be attacking a heck of a lot. So Cardred makes a heck of a lot of sense to be able to grab that on Kog'Maw, whereas Siva, sort of your quintessential Essence 3 of a builder with
And
Lucian.
while
there
we're
as well.
going on bottom lanes as well, there's a couple of, I guess, cool interactions we have to consider. So Bard can destroy Kog'Maw when he presses W and stand still to attack, right? But
Yep.
that's more of a later game trend. The thing is, and we were talking about this, is if Bard misses the Q, Bard's probably dead. So
Yeah.
you have to be very careful with your Q usage and primarily look towards maybe more auto attacks. Because if Braum hits the Q, you need to have yours ready to threaten the stun, or you just outright struggle in this lane.
Oh my god, this Azir skin is so cool as well. I'm glad that we started the conversation on skins because there are a lot of awesome ones here, and especially the middle lane already. There's Sonora and Kog'Maw. I mean, that's another one, like hipster Kog'Maw skin.
That is a hit system, I'll give him that.
Yeah. Oh, Winter's Bite is going to land here onto Frey. One more is going to get the stun there, but Cardred doesn't want to overextend. Boomerang Blade not going to find the mark there as Frey running out of mana just a little bit. Does want to be able to grab himself that spell shield as quickly as possible. He's got some cups of tea up the back there, which will be able to keep himself well and truly sustained during this lane. Ooh,
Bomb
nice
is
harass.
struggling.
Whoa. That last auto attack probably shouldn't have happened there from Rymeister. But really nice soldier placement in order to guarantee that that one
This
came
is
through.
so Rymeister advances without placing a soldier, and the way that he positions himself in this lane, just at every single instance threatens Bomb's health bar. And he did it at level 1 by pushing him in, and he's doing it again at level 2, knowing the Bomb cannot out-trade him if the soldier, when you first press the W, is on top of Bomb, because it's instant Thunderlords, because W, then you auto, Q
Yep.
auto, Thunderlords.
Well, you can see every time he has that Thunderlords up, Rymeister is trying to utilize it in order to get Bomb
lower and lower. Already both of the potions have been used by this Lux, so lots of pressure has been added. Rek'Sai paying some attention towards the middle of the map. Soul Strikes, of course, over this side as well. As you can see, Juve's already setting up vision for his mid laner.
Chippies is just having a casual roam. Are they looking for a kill mid?
Yeah, they're looking for it here as the E is going to be used. There's the pillar. Knockup comes in on a bomb. I've seen this one before as Chippies is going to pick up the kill. Soul Strikes picks it up with the flash body slam, and they even out the trade. Mid laner for jungler, though. And the buffs end up in the hands of Soul Strikes.
I was getting legit.
Oh,
my
Denian.
god, hello.
Yeah, having a bunch of trouble. Here's the
got
flash
him.
from Rogue. Picks it up with a cheeky auto attack, and the Cogmore lane is getting ahead as well. Sin really turning on the gas, but at least Hellions have got one back.
Now, it wouldn't be a Sin game without Rogue picking up an early kill, would it?
Damn right.
Guns blazing, though, from the
Chippy's
start
picked on
of
up as
this.
well. So much Fido this game, Rusty.
Yeah, absolutely. And that middle lane trade as well. I was getting flashbacks to a previous one. This time, Juice does go down instead of living on 10 health.
Yeah, it's like PTSD, man. As Ryu's looking for it. There's Cardred having to use the flash. Gets a buckler thrown at his face here as well. The Poppy just forcing it back out of the bottom lane. They're not going to be able to pick up too much more.
Yeah, they don't get anything. Of course, the teleport was used by Ryu, whereas Chippy's walked. And so he still actually got that advantage free to him and could have came down if Helion's got over-aggressive, looking for anything too cute. Juice was also nearby, so they needed to be careful here, Hellions. It was just trying to make something happen. I guess forcing a Kog'Maw's flash is actually a bigger deal than you would first think.
Yeah. Oh, nice stun from Denny in there into the wall. Cosmic Binding's on point. Now Frey just going to be able to push this one out. W pop from Cardred.
I will just outright say that Caterpillar Kog'Maw is the best.
I just can't go past Lion Dance, you know? I know it's probably the standard one, right?
Nah, Monarch's the standard.
Really?
Yeah, everyone loves the Monarch.
Oh, it's too fat.
Oh, absolutely. It's way too fat. But
Oh, the double from Denian. Denian denying the backs. I like it.
and
Another one.
denied.
Oh my god,
Cardred,
almost dead.
just walk further back.
Please, goodness me. Yeah.
So this is actually massive, and that was complete disrespect from Sin. Just recall safer. Look what they're about to miss. Potentially another wave on top of it, if Frey would do the right thing and stay.
Yeah, in fact, Denian getting the
Denian's
solo
just
experience.
gonna
I
farm.
like it.
Why not, you know?
Oh, Rymeister
That was
still with the pressure here in the mid lane.
Sin would have missed so much if he just stayed and pushed the next wave.
I think they're doing it again. Bomb in a bunch of trouble. The flash from Chippies. As Bomb is able to move at least
Watch the
slightly
ult,
out.
though.
Oh, the ult
Ooh.
just going to stop as Juves with a very cheeky Prey Seeker. Oh, Denian can't find the Cosmic Binding as we're going to see the replay again.
Yeah, this was,
So much attention.
again, close to hitting, but the Prey Seeker denies. And it wouldn't have killed Rymeister, but it would have been very close. Depending on Thunderlords, there was a chance.
Well, Denian could have come in with another auto attack there as well. So
Exactly, yeah.
it would almost definitely been a dead Azir. As Chippy's even able to pick up this huge minion wave. And he's even. With
Yeah.
a massive wave to pick up.
And he still hasn't teleported. He may as well have Ignite.
Well, Juice not going to get stunned. You have to hit the wall second, not first.
One thing that Sin have changed up this game is the lack of double teleport that we're used to seeing.
Yeah, true.
They're running Cleanse on the middle laner, and that is, to me, the biggest deal. Because it is such a small detail to go for Cleanse against the Lux, who is high burst, opposed to something like a Barrier, which, you know, if you're going to use logic, right, it's like, if I get bound, I can just barrier the damage and I won't die and get out. But
oh, the ultimate
here we
comes
go.
in. Bomb once again. He's going to get knocked up by Juice. The ult comes out as Rymeister takes so much damage. Bomb trying to do the best that he can as the health pot is not quite enough. Soul Strikes gets blocked by a whole host of minions. And Sin are going to be able to escape. A 0-3 Lux now already. I ain't going to blame you, Bomb. They are living in your lane.
if they were skirting any closer to death, they may have gone down. Of course, Soul Strikes, if he was 6, if Soul Strikes had Flash, there were 2 conditions where it was dangerous for Sin. Thankfully, and perhaps knowingly of this Sin roster, it wasn't available to him. And just like that, the advantages grow in this middle lane. It isn't actually the kills onto Rymeister, though. Juice keeps picking them up.
Yeah, one after the other as Rogue putting his face in it here. Denian trying to do what he can, but the stun comes down. Teleport comes in as Cardred doing his very best to try and hold them down. Chippies will have a traffic cone that he'll deliver. It's in fact a trophy. He's He's just going to immediately back out of the way after grabbing the flash and the heal from Frey.
Yeah, forcing summoners. Denian barely living, but still has his flash available to him. So weird communication, I will say, from these guys. Prioritizing the heal over the flashes. No one dies, though, so they do get out with their lives, all things considered. Well played here from Helions, as finally Chippies uses that teleport button.
Yeah, exactly.
Took him a while, but we got there.
Threatening that bottom lane quite a lot, but Hellions not losing anyone just yet. And look, at this stage last game, it was a much larger lead.
This lane is only decided by farm values right now, and Bomb is still okay. Because it's a Negatron Rushes here who hasn't gotten any of the kills. Look at the pressure that Bomb still has.
Yeah.
Which
Just
makes no
standing on
sense.
He's standing on his soldier. No fear at all. Maybe should have fear, because he gets hit by another Prey Seeker.
Should have a bit. He's against the blue buff, so I was actually just pressuring away from minions. He won't stay too long.
Close.
Because he has teleport and he can afford to make trades like this. And if it comes down to it, he can just go back, get his item, which I would no doubt he wants to get something soon. And saying that, Rhymeister is going to be eerily close to that Abyssal Scepter.
Yeah, it's just a book at the moment here for Bomb. We'll see whether he goes for the Morellonomicon or whether it is going to be something like the Athenes on Holy Grail, a slightly more defensive option.
The other cool thing about this matchup is that if Rhymeister is on the ball, he can proc Thunderlords in between the shield's return.
Oh,
and so you can still do
yeah.
a lot of damage in an effective trade. So needs to be careful, Bomb, about where he's positioned. 3's okay as long as you put the shield out.
Oh, we've had this conversation before as well about Juves and his ability to invade and how important it is for Sin. You can see him already in the enemy jungle. Soul Strikes now wants to try and deal with his pink ward, but gets his ward removed. And the Gragas in a bunch of trouble, going towards the squishier option here in the Runic Echoes, as Gragas do like to do. But Cookie going to come in with a tweet. The laser will penetrate Emperor's chest. Bomb, you can make it. Spark the game. Hashtag I'm OPL. Hashtag Hellion win. Cookie, you have the best Twitter in the whole universe. Thank you so much.
Get well soon as well, Cookie.
Yeah, damn right. That being said, it is great to be able to have you on Twitter in order to get them onto the broadcast.
I don't know how I would survive without it.
Yeah. If you're not following him, you definitely should. Costing Binding going to go wide here from Denian, though. As Frey's going to get healed.
His bottom lane is still rough for Sin at the moment. They're still in between their items. Yeah. Not the Quinzu, it's Juice. In typical Juice fashion, giving him one.
Bit of the Osfido coming in here. There's the Soul
Yeah,
Strikes.
get him.
Yeah, just going to smack on him. Denian's here.
Fair enough.
Looking for the stun. Just wanders out of the way of the explosive cask. And Soul Strikes will at least be able to eat a
Now,
tunnel.
to be fair, that was not bad from Soul Strikes. That was just good from Juice. That was really good from
sidestep
Juice.
is not something you'd normally do.
He had flash available, so if it came down to it and knew he was going to get hit, he could flash it, but he wanted to take the tunnel as the easy way out. And so he walked towards the tunnel and then juked back when the ultimate came out. Very clever stuff. Outthinking Soul Strikes.
Yeah, cute play. Oh, a bit of a change up here from Chippies, actually, going towards what looks to be the Iceborne Gauntlet and the Sunfire Cape early, as opposed to getting that Titanic Hydra that we see a lot of these Trundles do.
Yeah, the armor-based lane wave clear as well. So he can still go back towards the Titanic Hydra whenever he'd like, but a bit more control for the team as well.
Yeah, I like it.
Being able to slow the front line of Hellions, whoever it may be, or the back line.
A little bit more utility as he is going to be grabbing that cooldown reduction a bit earlier.
Yeah, and opposed to raw damage. This is about protecting the Kog'Maw, right? So you max the 20% CDR as soon as possible. Hello.
Yeah, Ryu looking for it here as there's the knock-up. Kardrid is just going to die. Hellions making use of that pressure top lane to get Ryu amongst it. He's not going to be able to pick up the support, but at least gathers the Void Puppy.
And that was really good from Hellions to capitalize on the pressure that they had top. In saying that, he doesn't prioritize defending his own turret. He prioritizes giving the kill over to Hellions, of course. He did pick it up. Doesn't necessarily help his laning phase to that much of an extent just yet. As look at Sin.
Yeah.
They're still matching.
Yeah, smashing that top lane inner turret here as well. We'll see whether Chippies and Juves are going to be able to take it down, of course. They are a Rek'Sai and a Trundle. They can do some work to the turrets. Especially with that ground there. Ryu looking to try and get in here, but Chippies has one thing in mind. It's the turret, and they get it.
Ooh, nah, no mana. Sin. They do still pick up the turret. Hellions, they're making rotations.
Ooh, Bomb had the flash.
No, they're
that's not
making
to go
more
for too much.
rotations.
Oh my goodness. There's the E. Bomb using the flash to get out. Gets the binding. Bomb is going to survive, but that's a big summoner spell for the Lux.
And Bomb rotating up but not placing wards on his way up, and with no vision of where Rymeister was. Very easy for Sin's middle laner to just match. Now they're contesting pretty much everything from here. It's a big item buy though for both respective mid laners. The damage is pretty big.
Yeah, it is actually the Frost Queen's claim that Bomb has decided to go for here as well. So interesting pickup. Grabbing that one instead.
Yeah,
the other two that I actually mentioned.
Very curious pickup to say the least, of course. It gives you a bit of extra money in the way of spiking as well. It costs a bit less, I believe. Yep. But you miss out on 10% CDR that the Morellos would offer.
So I do like the active for Lux.
The active is good. It makes it a lot easier to hit your spells with that are high cooldown. It also gives you a lot of knowledge when warding.
Yeah.
So that you don't get caught.
Well, given his early stage of the game, I would not blame him for expecting there to be multiple people towards his lane. So being able to scout that one out without face checking is definitely important.
Well, yeah, very much so, of course. Helion's relying on what I will call their star mid laner.
Yeah.
The one who has been expected to exceed and excel.
But I mean, it's obvious that Sin respect Bomb a lot as well. I mean, if they're gonna send multiple people there so many times, and Cardred, you are in so much trouble. Fraser's gonna get all the way behind the Braum. The go button's being pressed. Fraser's running circles around this Sin bottom lane as the Boomerang's gonna pick up a double kill. The Sivir going off.
And I am just straight confused with Sin's bottom lane. They knew where Juves was. They knew Juves wasn't there. But they overcommit and take a lot of damage in a raw 2v2. And Sivir Bard comes up trumps once more. I mean,
not to mention they didn't have a turret. They're super overextended.
Yeah, no, they're overextended. I think they were getting greedy for the enemy turret as well. Because they are controlling the 2v2 somewhat. At the end of the day, like, is it necessary? Is what I'll say. Because Sin are pushing top lane. Do you need to be pushing bottom?
Yeah.
Wait for your jungler. Make the call. Don't just do it.
Well, Jude's going to take a lot of poke here.
There's no Shia LaBeoufs in this game, man.
Love that, man. Rymeister going to get tagged by a Lucent Singularity. Bomb's just throwing out some spells, trying to keep the Azir down. Tempered Fate not going to find Rymeister. There's Rusty head in hand, a little bit upset. There's the flash body slam though. Special delivery of the Birdman who just uses his ultimate, picks up the kill, almost a double. Preyseeker grabs another one. Rymeister, no fear whatsoever. And they go for the 2-for-1.
That was very manly. I don't think there's any
yeah.
other way to describe that besides manly. He is packing some heat here though, Rymeister. The damage output was ridiculous. And the trade was significant as well because they were at a disadvantage. Juves getting 2 kills this game with a Preyseeker.
Oh, well, Kog'Maw was towards the bottom side, still even man towards the mid lane as Helion's utilizing that in order to get some chip damage on this turret, but mostly just getting damage off the enemy players as Rymeister. Look at him. The ultimate usage and the fact that he uses his E afterwards, just insane.
Yeah, so the coolest thing about that was the cleanse flash. He re-established a strong position, but he was going to get ignited and eventually go down from that, so just commits to doing as much damage as he can. And it was the right decision, but it was executed so damn well.
Yeah. And that's a situation where Helion's like had that pick. Soulstrike's played it, you know, immaculately. He gets the flash body slam, gets the perfect barrel.
The thing is, though, like as good as it was from Soulstrikes, and absolutely he mechanically played it well, Rymeister was positioned like he wanted to fight them.
Yeah.
And so he just disrespected, just took them on. He's still got a flash and an ignite out, so in terms of summoners used, actually comes up even if not ahead. More people having to use summoners.
Yeah, Rymeister has been going from strength to strength over the last few series here for Sin. Now with the Abyssal Scepter completed, Nash's Tooth going to be option number 2. Lots of cooldown reduction going to be available here for this Azir. That extra attack speed.
Yeah.
Boosting those soldiers.
And this is the really cool thing about Sin's team comp as well, is that they don't need to have a fed bottom lane. Like, sure, it's protect the Kog'Maw, right?
Yeah.
But Kog'Maw's efficient with his items because he goes for the Runaan's Hurricane and the Guinzu's Rageblade. They don't cost a lot. It only sucks in between getting the Guinzu. So now he's got it, he's strong. Once he finishes the next item, he's still strong, if not stronger. The way that I see it, right, is once you've got your Guinzu's Rageblade, you've got the item that you need. That's all you need.
Yeah.
One item. You get a Runar's Hurricane, you've got the item times 3.
Oh, Juice gets a 3-man knock-up with the Unburrow. The teleport immediately to follow here as the nice light binding comes in. Juice takes half of his health bar. Another decent cast to come out as Hellions not going to be able to find it. Fantastic disengage here from Sin.
Yeah, Hellions are looking for it. Sin are just deterring them now. This is a battle of stop the recall, stop the rotations, and pressure mid-turret. If someone goes top, if 2 go top, they'll try and fight mid.
Yeah, well, they'll get either the mid-turret or the top one here as Rymeister still able to get through this one. Ryu wants to find a wall as the ult comes down. Rymeister just wanting to go aggressive, uses his E, gets himself to relative safety now.
Out.
He's waiting for that E cooldown. There are 3 people here. What is the rest of Sin doing, though? As
my God.
Rymeister's going to be okay.
Just walks
what the hell?
Played that so well. Rymeister's on fire.
What is it?
This man is like, he goes between like the best and the worst players.
Yeah, I know, right? As Denian just flashes. Oh, he's going for the Mad Life Cosmic Binding. I'll definitely give that to you there, Denian. Wanted to get Cardred's flash. Of course, it was already on cooldown, so that's a bit depressing. Chippy's going to get slowed down. Meep attack here from Denian.
Yeah. Sin. They are actually just working on the back of Rymeister at the moment. And again, this comes back to the point I was making. Cardred, he can be 0-10.
Yeah.
Once he's got those 2 items, he's still going to do damage and needs to be respected in team fights. But if they're focusing Rymeister, then they're not respecting the person who's 0-10 who still does damage. And that's why Kog'Maw's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Outright should not be doing that much.
Oh, nice use of the ultimate here from Bomb, though, as Chippies is taking a lot of damage. Subjugate is there.
Mana.
We'll at least keep him alive as he just saps Soul Strike's defensive capabilities.
Yeah,
Juice
Soul Strike's
split pushing on the bottom side, though.
Ridiculous. Sin. When it comes to split pushing, that's one thing they definitely know how to do.
Yeah, they hate turrets. I think Sin just really hate turrets.
They don't like Summoner's Rift.
No, they just want to dismantle it. They're demolition men at heart.
They absolutely are the demolition men. That's the funny thing.
Yeah.
Like, the desk mentioned it perfectly. They don't kill champions. They don't kill people. They kill people that are near turrets or that are stopping them from getting turrets.
Yeah.
Because turrets suck.
Yeah, they hate them. Hate them turrets.
Oh,
AoE crits coming through here, though, as Tempered Fate comes down, hits everyone. Hellions will be able to set up for this one as the ult comes through. Juve's going to get delivered, but it's a massive knock-up that he's given. Prismatic Binding barrier, to come through here for Bomb. Is trying to keep everyone alive, but Sin do survive this one. Rymeister still left to his own devices. Chippies was in the top lane. It was a 4v3, but Hellions just couldn't quite get it done. They're trying to break this mid lane outer turret, and it's very close to going down.
Yeah, the war of attrition does begin, of course. Juice needs to go back, but he doesn't have his ultimate to pull himself back in. There it is.
Yeah, able to get their Bomb.
Well,
forced to use the flash as there's the ultimate from Ryu. Turns this into a 5v4, but immediately it's smashed back as Denian's going to get eaten by the Kog'Maw. Soul Strike's in trouble. You can see these Sand Soldiers not worried about being underneath that turret for too long.
Chippies has not a care in the world.
No one on Sin does. There is no fear. They're like, I don't know, those soldiers that are really frightening because they don't have any fear. Is that like a thing?
Oh.
The Immortals or something?
Now you're just going to annoy me with it, huh?
Yeah, that was. Yeah, I don't remember. Anyway, feels like
Dothrak?
Maybe. Wait, no.
That's Game of Thrones.
Yeah, that's Game of Thrones.
Yeah, no, but they have no fear.
Yeah, are they the ones that fight with no fear?
I have no idea. Tweet at SpawnLol.
Yeah, tweet at SpawnLol. Let him know. Let us know.
At SpawnLol.
Yeah. Those soldiers.
Bring it back to the game for a second, because, you know, a lot of stuff just happened while we were discussing what just happened. Let's just most importantly look at mid lane once again, because this in game 1 was a big deal, right? The Diana went off when Rymeister was playing that champion. He had like an 80 CS lead. Well, guess what? That hasn't changed. Still getting a lot of farm, still sitting in side lanes even without teleport. And that's where I draw my confusion or concern, perhaps, for Sin, is what if he splits and the rest of the team dies? And that's why I really like Bard. Because more often than not, he's caught people out with the ultimate. They're grouping as a big group, and they've got Gragasol to catch afterwards. They've got Luxol to make picks initially. Like, this team as 5 is actually pretty good. They just haven't found what they were looking for, and Rymeister's splits have been effective.
Yeah, and it's weird that Azir, I mean, he is known as a champion that can take down turrets very, very effectively. I mean, that W on the turret It's a very, very scary prospect.
Cardra's APM was really good.
Yeah, really, really cute. As Hellions are looking to try and... Oh, no dice. Soldiers say no.
This is why Azir is so powerful still. You're against the Sivir comp whose purpose is just go ham.
Yeah, well, Juve's actually standing in between the team. Has to use the flash, respecting the laser beams. The Soul Strike's in trouble. Turret's going to go down, and Rymeister looking to try and get in amongst it. They're just going to take the magical journey because it's magical and it's a whole lot of fun. You're not going to find too many kills from it. Cosmic Binding going to go wide. Denian looking to see what he can do.
Nah, dude.
Yeah, Sin just going to move towards the top side of the map. The inhibitor that Rymeister prepared earlier.
That's going to go down very easily here. Ryu can't get in.
Oh, Frey just dead. Rymeister's able to turn on Ryu now as well. He gets stunned and destroyed. And you can see this Kog'Maw able to sit in the back line because everyone's focusing on Rymeister. He's doing so much damage.
Exactly. And this is the thing. They have so many strong champions on this roster. There's going to be 2 inhibitors in one fell swoop.
And it's once again a 10,000 gold lead. 24 minutes into this game, and Sin are looking terrifying. Look, the Chiefs have to play this team next week, and I mean, I'd be frightened. I would definitely be frightened.
That is a conversation for another day entirely, I believe.
Oh, it is.
This is Sin with Swiffer against Sin with Rymeister.
Yes, it is.
Chiefs with Swiffer.
I'm just really excited, man.
Oh, it's going to be good, of course.
Oh.
Hellions. This is about a 10k gold lead still. They haven't broken in many turrets at all, so they're still standing gold. And honestly, they're just spending most of their time grouped. And the most important thing that I was going to touch on before they just keep fighting, damn it.
Yep, most fighting.
Is how Azir does well into Sivir. Because like the concept of Sivir's engage is different to Ashe, right? And these are 2 polarizing champions in a way that they
the
are still
utility
similar.
champions. Yep.
So their utility. That's their similarity, and that's as close as their similarities lie. The major difference, one presses R and empowers your team in Sivir. The other one presses R and stuns someone so that your team doesn't need to be empowered. They can be in range.
Yeah, okay.
The thing is, Azir, with his ultimate, denies empowering your team because he just straight up says, you're not going this way.
It's a no button. Oh, Tempered Fate going to lock down Juves and the Baron as Rymeister gets over the top, delivers Denny and Ryu to his team, but Magical Journey going to get the Bard to safety. They just turn straight back on the Baron. The ultimate comes down, but it is going to be the Cardred that picks up the Baron. And in goes Sin. They're looking for even more. The ultimate comes out. It's a game of ping pong on Summoner's Rift right now as Juves the last man standing, but he's still wanting to go aggressive. Take the journey, Juves. Don't be scared. No one else is coming.
You guys cheated. You went through the base gate, man. Come back.
Yeah,
there we
exactly.
go.
Fight me.
There we go.
These are Baroned up super minions heading into the base as well. As Juves has no fear, especially now that the rest of his team's turned up. Cardred is going to goo-hose through these turrets. Frey does have the ultimate running. They're looking for it here as Ryu just gets obliterated. The trophy comes down. They're looking to try and stop off Hellions here, but Cardred still auto-attacking the turret. Denian, yeah, you're dead. Double kill comes down for the Kog'Maw. And I know he's a little bit of an afterthought this game, but he's still ridiculously strong.
Yeah. Cardred showing he can play the Kog'Maw. This could be the final push.
Yeah, he's flashing forward actually. Soul Strikes is going to get stunned. He dodges out of the way of the turret shots, and you can see Sin. They are able to lock this one down. Nexus turrets fall. And the Nexus is going to follow. What a dominant performance in both games from Sin.
And it wouldn't be a Sin victory without Rogue picking up the final kill. I know I said it at the start of the game. The first and last recipient of kills on the board. And Sin Gaming, they take it to 11 right there. Hellions just tail between their legs, have to walk away in defeat. And that's it for Hellions.
Yeah.
Straight up, that's it.
No more playoff dreams alive for Hellions. They will most likely stay in the OPL, though, locking down either that 5th or that 6th spot. But we are going to throw it to the analyst desk to break down what was an incredible Sin series.
Thank you very much, Atlas. To clarify, they're not going anywhere. They can't go into a relegation promotion tournament. They do have to stay in the OPL unless, you know, everyone just abandons ships and run away. But we will see whether that is the case. And when we're looking at this game, you have to have a very serious look about how, once again, Hellions set up, because they went with a very, I guess, disengaged, like, poke-heavy comp, but then they had a Sivir. They had a Lux Sivir composition. We always say, like, if you're going to run Sivir, you have to really have something in the mid lane that can capitalize on being able to catch people out like that. And the Lux just never got into that position because they camped it for, like, years.
No.
A Sin classic,
Yeah.
right? Camp the mid lane, get things going. I know you like their composition, though, I think, when you're watching their draft.
So
She's
what I
pretty
wanted the Lysandra. How Lux kind of works with that comp is we call it the Hail Mary comp. So the Bard ult into like a Sivir ult, and then Lux can kind of be a part of that with her laser from a great distance. But I agree with Spawn. I think that they needed some sort of mid-bridge champion, which would have been Lysandra. Again, she's going to come off of a 2-item power spike, where Sivir has a 3-item power spike. So the fact of the matter is that Lux fell behind, and if she's not ahead...
Yeah, this is the biggest thing about Lux. She's a champion that, like, she's weird, right? She's a super long-range champion, surprisingly good utility, good poke, obviously, just great abilities to... Lux is annoying because she can kill your carry from a screen away, and you can't do anything about it. In order to do that, though, you need to have enough AP to actually one-shot the people you're required to kill, and much like a lot of other assassins, when you can't kill the targets you actually try and one-shot, you don't really do anything. Lux's problem is even worse, because she has absolutely no follow-up. You land your binding, you land your E, you land your R, and that's it. You're done. You can't really get in there and auto them for your passive, so unfortunately when Lux falls behind, she falls really far behind.
Yeah, and that was the case in that game because of Sin's game plan, once again, of just repetitively camping that mid lane, and that's where I kind of want to go, because Rheinmeister is the man right now that they seem to want to continue to snowball ahead. Is it because the rest of Sin aren't playing well? Is it just a team? What did you think about the rest of the team comp, I guess? Because it's easy to point at mid lane and just be like, they're giving everything to Rheinmeister, but what is it about the rest of Sin?
I think it's inherently how Sin play and what Rheinmeister does when he has a lead. Again, they constantly play like a 4-1, even though they're good at playing the map, and Rheinmeister does group up, utilize the double teleport. But a lot of time, he also just kind of split pushes. If your primary split pusher, and it's typically always going to be Rheinmeister when we talk about Sen Gaming, is so far ahead all of the time, that just opens up because again, like he's either going to 1v1 kill his opponent, or he's going to draw up enough resources that the rest of Sin and the 4-1 can take whatever they want on the map. And so I think it's just inherent that this is how Sin play in a 4-1. They play the map, they get their split pusher ahead. It just happens to be their mid laner and not their top laner.
Yeah, and it's not like the other members of Sin play badly. Chippy's, I think, is really solid. He's becoming a very consistent player. That game, he was roaming mid lane, so I feel like he was just getting his job done no matter what. And Cardred and Rogue. Rogue's an awesome player. I think Cardred's a bit hit or miss, certainly learning, but the lane seems very stable. So Sin, if they want to pick on one place, why not be mid like it's always been? Because the rest of the map's just super safe.
Yeah, it certainly was. And with that, they were able to pick up the 2-0 victory. As we have a look at the standings and how that has impacted the tables, as you can see right now, it is Sin Gaming that jump into second place. Legacy are 8-1. Chiefs are 6-3 and the OPL Legends champions right now. Direwolves are 5-4. Avantgarde 4-5. Hellions are 3-6. They aren't safe because they don't have the head-to-head versus Infernum. So if Infernum win their game, Hellions lose their game, it will be Hellions that dip into there. But an uphill battle for Infernum, who also look like to be on the ropes, and Trident are down there in last place. That is a very congested top of the table right now. But as we have a look at the results of the week, we'll see exactly why that is the case. It is Avant taking a 2-0 over Infernum on Monday night. Trident are 2-0 right now against Direwolves, who, that was, I guess, an upset of the week that kind of started this snowball of weird stuff at the top of the table, whilst the Chiefs took down Legacy and stole their OPL Legend title. Hellions, unfortunately, tonight fell to Sin, ending their playoff run. Of course, they can still help play spoiler, because next week we have even more OPL action coming your way. Trident is against Infernum on Monday night. We will see who is going to secure that spot into the relegation tournament. Is it going to be Infernum escaping with a win over Trident, or will it be Trident, I guess, just jockeying for position down there? Legacy against Avant is on Tuesday night. That's at 6 p.m. Australian Daylight Savings Time. Hellion versus Direwolves on Tuesday night as game 2 of our doubleheader. And of course, Sin versus the Chiefs, our rematch for the OPL Legends title to see who will have that second seed spot. The OPL show is a new show we're going to bring to you after Wednesday night's broadcast, so don't go anywhere, guys. It's a recap of the OPL season and a prequel to what will be the finals as we take a look at the bracket coming up for what will be the potential finals right now. Legacy have locked in top spot. As you can see behind the 4th seed, that is between Sin, Chiefs, Direwolves, and Avant right now. Second seed can be Sin, Direwolves, or Chiefs. Third seed can once again be all 4 of the other teams in contention. So really, it is a 4-man race to try and lock down seeds 2, 3, and 4 next week. We only have 1 week left, guys, and that is where we're going to leave you tonight. Join us on Monday. I am out of breath. At 7 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Saving Time, on behalf of myself, the desk, the casters, the production team, and everyone else, enjoy your weekend, and we'll catch you next week.